live again. I ain't even gonna tweet about it or blue sky about it today because I didn't prepare a whole lot and I don't know how far we're gonna get, but it could be amazing. It could be amazing. Not sure though. Checkity check, check, checkity check. Boo boo boo. Sharing. Hello. Oh, it says one person now. I think that's good enough for me to talk about stuff. So my goal is to do quantity queries, hopefully do them in a new way, even though I don't even know what's up. Hi, Chris. I can't tell. Oh, you're on Twitch, so I have to reply on Twitch. That's weird in this Ecamm Live that you turned me onto, which is way nicer. It's so good compared to the other crap I was using. I don't see any need to switch again. But in Ecamm Live, so if you said it on Twitch, but I responded on all of it, yeah, I'm going to reply. I just don't want to like reply on YouTube also, you know? So if I hit that, oh shoot, did I? Oh yeah, I did. It'd just be weird to see a reply on YouTube or whatever. I'm going to leave it on post to all as default in case I want to share something interesting or whatever. Yeah, so this is like the old school version of quantity queries. I think it's a Hayden Pickering deal that he came up with this idea. So I'll share it in just 1 second. But now I do feel the need to. Isn't there some like
set me up, right?
Channel? There's some like need to share when you're about to stream. What's our good Discord for it? Show and tell. Is that the best one? Yeah, whatever. Cool. So this is like the old school version of it, which I think is interesting. So it's saying like ULLI, let's say I want to do something special when there is at least 3 list items, for example, right? Create the query. Now, what is that like? Okay. It's saying that there's at least 3 here. The nth last child is 3. So counting from the backwards, 1, 2, 3, if this exists, I guess, select it, but not otherwise. At least 3. And then select all ones after that one too. So it's not going to select anything. If there's 2 children, this doesn't exist, and it's not going to select everything. And if there's 2 children, this doesn't exist, and thus it's not going to select all the list items after it. So it's whatever styles are in here is there's at least 3 of them. At most is even weirder, I think. Create query. It's saying if there's, you got to count backwards again from 3. 1, 2, 3. If this one is there, select if it's there, you know, like this will fail if it's not there, then select the first child and then select all list items that are the first child that are after the first child. So it's kind of like the reverse of it. It's a big old long selector, but kind of cool. What's at least and most? Between 3 and 5, I bet this query is really crazy. I don't even want to try reasoning that out, but it's gotten a little easier because now you can go like ULLI has nth child 3, and then it's just like, oh, you have a 3rd item, cool. Then you can select the parent as well, whereas in this case you're only selecting the children. There's no way to select the parent itself, and that's wicked more limiting than this was. This is like select the children. That's cool. Maybe it was cooler in a Flexbox land, but because you do so much work on the child. But in a grid land, you kind of want to get your hands on the UL, not necessarily the LIs. So I think that'll be easier. I didn't even really think all this out all that much, but we'll figure it out. And the idea is that I can't get out of my head this idea that there's like, if there's 1 item, fine, just show it. If there's 2, show them side by side. If there's 3, have some unique layout. But I was like, oh, 4, they're starting to be too many. We need to bust out into a carousel, you know? Actually, if we flip all these on, like if there's 4 or more, then do this treatment. But if there isn't, then don't do this treatment. I think that's like an interesting approach. Maybe it doesn't come up every day, but it's kind of cool. CodePen.il/editor/pen is the new 2.0 editor in sort of like private beta. How tiny is the code? Is it okay? I'm going to do 1 bump. Cool. So if we had like a dot grid, and the grid has got 1 thing in it, right? It's got 1 thing in it. No JavaScript today. Goodbye, JavaScript. We'll bring you back if we need to, but let's just keep our workspace clean here. And then we'll say dot grid is a display grid. And then the divs inside of it are going to be like width of 100% or, well, let's see, 200 pixels, aspect ratio 1. We'll say their background of, I don't know, Rebecca purple. The color is white. They themselves are a grid, display grid, and their place items in the center. Why did aspect ratio not kick in there? That's an interesting one. It has a width, doesn't it? Oh, I spelled it wrong. That's the best reason of all. Aspect ratio. Little things like that. It's certain blocks might be able to help. I wonder if I'll throw on style lint. I think it will catch problems like that. Maybe. Is it already going to be mad at me for something? So if I make that same mistake, aspect ratio, yeah, it's going to catch that. That's nice, isn't it? Aspect ratio instead. We'll leave style lint on now and see if it gets annoying or not. So, okay, great. What else do we want to do here? Let's do a quantity query if, okay, it is going to be mad at stuff. You don't like the uppercase? You little wiener. What else doesn't it like? Was there a third one? Oh, you like to even have a space at the end? Fine. Okay, we are now fully compliant with style lint's needs. Okay, but if we added another div, so when do we learn? Shift option down here and made it number 2. Now we have 2 of them in there, which is of course begging for a gap already. I can't look at 2 grid items next to each other like that. But we want to put them side by side. Do we want to always put them side by side? No, let's do this all with quantity queries. So we could say and has div of nth. Can you do it one of these in there? Is that valid syntax? Nth child, I guess, 2. So you have at least 2 items, but we'll say 3 just to make sure it's cool. So do you have an nth child of 3? Now select the div and then make them, I don't know, background red. Oh, and see, style it's going to be obnoxious, isn't it? Well, maybe not. It was just because it was running against my like half written code or whatever. Maybe we'll find a way to chill that out a little bit. Sweet. Would be great as a hero effect at the top of the homepage. What's up, Kick 808? I'll add that to the broadcast. I agree. It's the kind of thing like, I don't know, if you are going to do that kind of thing, if there's a possibility of a carousel, like, I don't know, a news website where it's a heavy news day, then do it, you know? It's that, I just think it's kind of like a really resilient component if the component is like designed to take whatever kind of content inside of it. You know, is that the kind of thing we'd need on inside the editor on CodePen? Probably not. Is it something that would make a lot of sense on like, I don't know, a university website with an ever-changing content pages or something? Yeah, probably. So that didn't take it, but if I change this to 2, it should work, right? They should just go red all of a sudden. Yeah, because an nth child of 2 exists within the grid. That exists, so then the rest of these styles apply. But if there's 3, there isn't a third item. So this fails and they don't turn red. Kind of cool, right? So we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. What we're going to do is have the template columns kick in at that point. So then they'll be side by side. Cool. And this should apply. This is like the quantity query of at least, right? Cool. Where did I do this with this? Quantity query carousel. Ambitious, but maybe we can get there. Okay, but what if we wanted to stop too? That I'm less sure about. Like, let's try to stop at 5 or something like that. So then could we also go, how far can you chain these things? Can you go not has the nth child 5? So that should still work. But if we had 6 things in there, it won't, right? 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to all of a sudden stop applying? Yeah, dude. I can't believe that came right out of our brains together. Beautiful. All right, so that's what a quantity query looks like. That's not as insane as that is, but it's only because we have has now, and it's nice. We don't actually need this. It's tempting to let it hang out though for a minute, then duplicate that line just in case we need it. We thought about it once, so let's let that brain nugget sit there around. Okay, cool. So now if you have at least 2 children, you get a 2-column design. That's kind of neat. Let's do it if there's 3 children, and let's make sure, let's kick it down to 2 children for now, which will still apply, so they'll be side by side, and we'll write a new one from scratch. Has, and in this case, do you have a 3rd child? Nth child 3. Yes, you do. Oh, how good for you. We're going to leave it as a 2-column grid, but we're going to take that 3rd item and make it stretch all the way across the bottom. Just as an example. So we could say nth child, the 3rd one, make it, how do you do it? Grid column span 2, or grid column just spread all the way, -1, column. Grid column, expect an empty line before the rule. I'm already getting sick of you, style lint. Where? What empty line? Let's configure it to not be so annoying. So if I'll click on style lint, go into configuration, it has to be done in the config file, fine. Is there something about empty lines? Ooh, that's hard to see. I'm gonna screenshot that because that is that blue on blue selection is no good. No bueno. What is it? Unit no unknown. That seems kind of fine. What was it complaining about though? Empty line, expected empty line before rule. Oh, there's the rule. It just gives you the rule code. Oh, God, we're so smart. So if we say this and then false, I don't care about that particular rule. Will it shut up and stop caring about that rule then? White space expended at end of line. Oh yeah. Okay, it did stop caring about that rule. I just had a bunch of weird white space there. Oh, we did it. God, isn't that nice to be able to configure the tools that you're using? Oh, that's awful nice, huh? Go CodePen. All right, so this should work if we add a 3rd one then. Can I select that, paste that? Oops, I did it wrong. I'm sure if I knew Vim, I would have done it right. So that's 3rd. It's supposed to be selecting that 3rd child and do it. Did I do this wrong though? Can I say span 2? Is that the more correct syntax? No. So why isn't that being selected then? Let's do the thing where we go like div background red. Does this rule apply generally? Yes, it does. So why doesn't this apply? Doesn't need a div here or anything, does it? Maybe grid column is just the wrong, whatever, the wrong CSS. So Span 2. It's being applied. Why wouldn't it span 2? It's literally being applied to that element. Background red. Wow. Do I just not understand the grid column property at all? CSS grid column. This one is spanning. I see you spanning grid column 1/3. Can we just copy this whole rule? Maybe we spelled it wrong or something. Paste. Ah! Copied way too much. 1 to 3. I would think that's not going to work because we don't have 3 columns. Grid column 1, 2. Nothing. Plus we made it mad again. Unclosed block. Was that our problem? Is that we just didn't write? No, because we saw it applying in DevTools. Yeah, it'll be in YouTube on the CodePen official channel or whatever. We're so close with this. Can I inspect the grid overall and see it really does have a 2-column grid, right? Yeah, 2 columns. The first one's in the first column, the second one's in the second column. The third column should span both the sides here, but it's just not doing it. What would be preventing grid column from applying? Is it a computed property? Can I look at grid column? Start in the first column, end in the third column. Well, it really is the third grid line though, right? Is that going to do it? Somebody tell me what's up there. That's wild. It's not that interesting to sit here and watch me debug this particular problem, but I've like spanned a lot of grid columns in my day, and that seems like that really should be spanning. Just that should almost definitely go. Something's preventing it from going. But anyway, that's not quite what we are doing. I would say that that's cool with 3, but like we also want it to be at most 3, because if we had a 4th one, we wouldn't want it to be spanning anymore. So I guess this is when we could steal this syntax up here. Do we need a open, 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 close, close, close? We need a 3rd one there. And say 4. So it does that if there's 3, and we'll just pretend it's spanning correctly, even though it's not for whatever reason. But now if we had 4, it's going to not do that, but it's still going to be 2-column, and it's not going to be red. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of cool. And then now this is my whole idea is once you have 5, we could be like, we could throw our hands up and go 5. That's crazy. We can't do 5. We have to bust out into a carousel if we have 5. So we'll say, if there's 5, wonderful. Then we're going to start doing carousel stuff. And what we're styling right here is the grid itself. So if you look at this thing, like what does it take to make this thing work? I don't know if I care about. I don't know how much I care about all this stuff. Auto pages. I don't even care about dots for now. Let's just get scroll buttons working. So this is the base. Cool. We'll copy those styles. But this is just div because we didn't give it a cool name. Let's add prettier too. Prettier will, I think, help with some of this stuff. Add blocks. Actually, I could just go Command K. That's our shortcut thing, and just type prettier. I think view prettier block. Add to pen. It should just start formatting this then, I would think, when I hit save at least, because that's the default is on save, and then it's still mad. I'm about to turn it off because it's not that useful. Has to come before. Oh, that's very interesting. I wonder if it has like a point there. Like, is it just a stylistic thing, or will there be some breakage? I don't know. I feel like there's probably a reason that rule exists. So let's roll with it. When you don't even know what that is. Okay, style int. We're going to need to upgrade versions of you, but we're going to disable you for now. Bays. I'm going to try it because I am a little obsessed of what was wrong with that stupid thing for a minute. So I'm going to temporarily comment out Mr. 4. That way 3 should be applying again, which is this one, and say grid column 1 span 2. That's your idea? 1 span 2. Did you see it move to the right though? When did it do that? How did it do that? Is that what? No. It just hates me. I know that's incorrect syntax there, but I swear to God, for a split second, I thought it'd go on the right. That is super supposed to work. It's obviously applying red, so this applies. It just will not stretch to the other side. I'm sure it's something really super stupid. Is it grid columns? No, don't know. Something's wrong. But let's bring back 4. So now there's at least 4. And this stuff is not applying. We're gonna bring back all 6. So as soon as 6 applies, we want the grid columns to... How do we want the grid columns? It's almost like we don't want that at all. We almost want like Flexbox or something. What is this? Doesn't talk about that. What is the overall layout mechanism to make them just in a row? No, interesting. Auto columns. Let's steal that. Obviously, we won't have their custom property. What is their custom property? 20ch. Fancy. That screams Adam Argyle to me. Cool. So we need the base styles too. We already have display grid. We don't have those other things. Do we need to turn off the column? Oh no, that's already going. Oh, that rules. And so how big are those columns? We'll copy them. Why not? Cool. But then do we need to... Does that still apply to this? Or does these things like override it? That is unclear to me. Like if we set up auto columns, do they win? The auto columns are set up here and there's still template columns. I just don't know how that behaves. Like obviously that's still applying, but I don't know if it matters anymore. I mean, clearly the columns are what they are. You know, it would matter as if we were on purpose sizing the divs. Oh, we are kind of. I don't think we want that. I don't think we want the width of the divs anymore because the widths and these auto columns are going to like fight each other, I think. So I think what we would do is say like width auto in here instead. And then they're going to become 20 characters. Is that how you say it? The 20ch? Is it the characters unit? I don't even know. So 200 should be gone. With auto, I see. Yeah, but what's deciding? What if we made these columns like, I don't know, 50 pixels wide? You'd think each of these purple boxes would be 50 pixels. Yeah, it totally does. It just so happened that 200 px and 20ch are like identical. Whatever. We'll make them 200 pixels wide. Okay, so now we have the kind of the carousel thing going. We caused scrolling in the vertical direction somehow. I guess it's because of the horizontal scroll bar triggers the vertical scroll bar. Maybe we don't need this, but I thought that's annoying to me. I thought DVH would help with that, but it doesn't. That's what it doesn't help with, right? It helps with browser Chrome, but it doesn't help with the scroll bar issue so much. I don't know what to think about that for now. We could have a whole scroll bar show at some point. Oh, so we have that, but we don't have the buttons yet. The buttons are almost like the coolest part. Like, what? Sick. So we need these things too. So carousel scroll buttons. What is that selecting? Is it just another selector? Carousel -- scroll buttons. I think that's like not matching up, right? This is just an example class. It's not the class that's actually on the page. So I don't think we need this class. We're just going to copy these and put them like in here. All right, prettier, do your thing. We don't have this font, so that can go backwards. So we don't really need this. We'll just put an actual arrow in there. Arrow right. Just emoji it up. Arrow back is arrow left. Arrow left. Cool. And the slash syntax is like the accessible name for it, so that feels kind of cool to know. And then the position area, is that useful? Last time we worked on this, this was tricky. It's like I feel like they're maybe there, but they're off screen. Oh, they're there, but you see how they're like not inline stars. They're off the screen a little bit. How do we kick them inside? What is position area? What are the other values of position area that we could use? Whoa, none just puts it at the bottom. None of these values are particularly nice in this grid setup that we have going on. I don't think we like need to use them, do we? Like this one could just be position absolute, I'd say. And then we could make this thing position relative. Give ourselves a little context there and then go like left 0 and top 100 pixels or something. Is that going to work? Ooh, it's way up at the top. Is it because our grid container is as tall as the entire... Why would the grid be that tall? Oh, this is what needed to be position relative. Oh, it is though. It's just in that particular context. Why is it? How big is the grid? I was imagining it as only being as tall as the content inside it, and it's position relative. So if I absolutely position something inside of it, this is one of those things that this came up the other day that I think is a strange thing about CSS. See how these look like they're child elements of this? I think what has come up is they're not actually though. They're actually siblings. DevTools is making them look like they're children, but they're not actually children, which is weird. But I guess, can they still participate on the grid? I mean, in this demo, it's like making it seem like they're participating on the grid, but in this absolute positioning context, the relative positioning of this grid it's just irrelevant. It doesn't matter. That is twisted. I feel like DevTools should do a better job of signifying that. So this approach is not going to work. So it's just going to pop down here underneath instead. Do they work? No. Let's get the other one working too. If we get rid of that, where is it going to go? Probably right next to it, right? Oh, but you can't go previous. But if I scroll, then do we get the other button? How come we only get one of the two buttons? You'd think there'd be a left button. There probably is one. Oh, are they on top of each other? What are the... Oh, there's oh, we're doing that. Oh, I see. The problem is that was the whole problem all along, wasn't it? Oh, anchor name carousel on the grid. Okay, that's what it was trying to do. It was, I misunderstood what was happening there. It's like we've made an anchor and now we're positioning it relative to the anchor. This had nothing to do with grid. It had everything to do with anchor positioning. So maybe we should bring that stuff back. Merp, 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 merp. The problem is it wasn't working particularly good, was it? You're trying... the button that scrolls to the right is at the inline end, which should be there, of the anchor, which is the entire grid. So maybe if we just kick it back to the left, translate negative 100 pixels 0. Will it just come in then? Yes, but it's not. Now they're no longer They should be fixed, but it's not. It's sure not behaving like it's fixed, is it? It's way over here at the end. I thought fixed would not do that. Seems to be something weird going on there. Let's look at this one again. So these are there. If we squish the screen, do they like become off screen? No, they become within the carousel. How is that being done? There's the button. Is it still cursor not allowed? Classy. That's classy. That's a nice touch. It's inner. So it's center, span, inline, start. Let's steal that. I want my buttons there all the time. So this right button is actually that. Will you come in then? No, it's still going to be over here. It's just going to be inset a little bit. So what's like forcing it properly to stay there even when you're here? Like, why does it stay there and mine doesn't? What rule am I missing? Position area, content. Position fixed. Did we remove our position fixed or is it back? Position fixed. I don't know what to tell you. It's being applied. This is like bizarro CS. I know mine's in an iframe, so like some rare times that matters, but rarely, and probably not for this. Because wasn't there that... I'm gonna look at my own profile. No, I go to Team Code Pen templates because we did that. Like was working on that Team Code Pen templates, all pens. I was working on that portfolio, this silly thing that we never finished, and it's got these things going on, right? Clearly, it's doable. Position fixed. Oh, they have the position anchor carousel. Not anchor name. Is that what it's missing? Position anchor carousel? Probably. No, it's there with this anchor. Okay, that was not it. I see I am translating them in from the edges a little bit, which is a little bit of a magic number that I don't like, but it's not. Oh, but there's this selector again. What is that selector doing? Carousel dash scroll dash buttons. Oh, it's just another selector on this, which is fine. We don't need that selector. We're already using a selector. Yeah, it's very unclear to me why mine doesn't like hug the edges like this one does. That's what we want. That's the behavior that's ideal, I would say. Meh. Scroll button, they're fixed. The right one, I guess we can keep that, but it doesn't matter that much, considering you can't see it at all. Actually, there they are, not being position fixed. Maybe they need I guess the problem is that they don't have like any kind of left or right value. That's probably what it is. Is there something that says like an inset value or something? So it's position fixed and it has a position area. Your position fixed. And you have a position area. I just don't know. But maybe if the right one was like right 0, I mean, that's normally how position fixed goes. And this one had left 0. Well, we've screwed it up. What do you do when you're in a situation like this? I mean, it's twice in this podcast where you're like, I don't know. That is absolutely the right syntax, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It makes me feel like Do we have some broken HTML or something? Is there some reason that CSS is being applied in such a bogus way? I guess we could look at it in a brand new window and see if it is the behavior the same there. I suspect it will be. Yeah, of course it is. So this has no iframe. So that's kind of one of the sanity checks you can do, is like, is it absolutely behaving correctly even though it's within an iframe here and it's not otherwise? Yeah, it just means that we literally screwed something up. Literally did it. Let's start measuring some things. Like, how wide does this carousel render as? 660 pixels wide. So is that this wide? Yeah, it is. It's as wide as the browser one. How wide is mine? Maybe we didn't restrict the width of the carousel properly. Yeah, it's 1280. It's much too wide. So there was something restricting the width of this carousel, which is interesting, isn't it? Like, what is restricting its width? Its computed value is just 660, and it has no width applied to it, as far as I can tell. Computed width, nothing. Does it have the overflow on it? It has overflow X auto. That must be what we have to overflow X auto. But mine is just rendering a lot wider. So maybe if we just force it to be 100% wide, the behavior will kick on somehow. Width, 100 viewport units wide. Is that going to force you to? Yeah, that totally worked. It's like its overflow turned into the body's overflow or something. I guess that makes sense. It just doesn't make sense why this one didn't need to be constrained. It's just, there is nothing constraining, but maybe that's because main is constrained, or one of its parent elements is constrained in some way. Could be, I don't know, but it looks like we just fixed it. So boom, boom. It just doesn't have the smooth scrolling. What is the smooth scrolling thing? Scroll behavior? Yeah, smooth. Is that it? Nice. So we could throw some padding on it because that scroll bar is awfully close to it. We could say, yeah, just padding in the block direction is like 1 rem. Kick that thing away a little bit. And then what's the, for ourselves, we can be like, needed. What is the thing? Scroll bar. How do we get rid of the background? Scroll bar. Something, track, CSS, scroll bar stuff, scroll bar styling. Oh, you don't even need the pseudos anymore. Scroll bar color, and then it's red is the thing, is the thumb, and orange is the track. Okay. So you don't need this scroll bar crap. You just say scroll bar color, and I don't like, I guess that's going to work, but I don't want to set red. I want to set it to what it was anyway, but this is transparent. Transparent. That's awkward that you need to set both at the same time. What if you don't want to set this one? Can you use like current color or something? That's going to be white. How do you set it to like whatever it was before? Does MDM have anything to say about that? Ensure that the thumb and track have enough contrast. That sounds like a great idea. Scroll bar color sets the color of the scroll bar track and thumb. Track refers to the background. The thumb refers to the moving part. 2 colors. The first applies to that, and the second applies to that. Auto. Auto is the keyword. Auto. Is that going to leave it how it was? Oh, it doesn't work. That's stupid. Maybe there's still something else it has to say about that. Well, that's interesting to know. Forced colors makes it auto. That's a nice touch, actually. So you have to set both. And there's just no two ways about it. I hate it. Bad job. I feel like I want to try more things, but I feel like MDN would have said if there's some way to do it. And if you just set one, it'll just fail too, right? So you just have to set something. I guess we could just measure what it is. I'll use my little eyedropper tool, put in a value. That's cool. It looks better to me, but this worries me when you set a one-off color like that. It's like, I don't want to manage that color. I want you to manage that color. I just wanted the background to go away. I guess, what would have worked is like the dash WebKit, like the first avenue we went down, the WebKit scroll bar things probably would let you do that. I'll chase that down for one kit at WebKit scroll bar or whatever. Just the thumb, just the track. So if we didn't do this, and I think browsers are like, if you use one of these newfangled standardized scroll bar things, it overrides whatever else you do on the background. Transparent. Is that going to go? No. Why? Great. It won't even be inspectable. I guess that's kind of a bogus thing about the scroll bars. I don't really want to go down that road anyway, because I feel like it's just worse than using the standard ones. It's way more powerful, but I'd rather just go with the standardized one. Like that is just never going to be standardized. I don't think. It seems highly unlikely, so we just got this going on. All right, so just in case you just happen to join us and you have no idea what we're doing, the idea is that if you just have like one element in here, it's just going to show one element. And if you happen to have two elements, it's going to show them side by side. Neat, but we didn't really even bother setting up the grid until we had two elements. And if we have three elements, it's going to do this thing where we absolutely could not figure out how to get 3 to span 2 columns at the bottom, which makes me feel extremely stupid. But this is the exact moment. If you're watching right now, I guess we could take away this magic or something. We're selecting when the parent has exactly 3 children here, and this is just saying, and not 4, only 3. Or more, no less, no more, then select that third item, apply background red, which you can see is working, and then try to span it across 2 columns, and it absolutely refuses to do that, which is just unbelievable. You can even see it apply to the element in DevTools. It's like, oh yeah, grid column 1, 3, you got it. No problem. I will absolutely do that for you. And then it just doesn't do it. Amazing. So I don't know what to say about that, but it's supposed to. And what we're trying to showcase is like, based on how many elements are inside something, we could just play around with that. We could be like, I want to do something special for 1. I want to do something special for 2. I want to do something special for 3. I want to do something special for 4. And then if there's more than 4, it's like, that's too many. We're going to bust out a carousel, which is cool. So that's what 4 is doing. It's sticking to that 2-column grid. And then 5 is like, nah, it's carousel time. And we're just, the reason I was just applying extra crap is to show you that it can be done conditionally. It's like all of this scroll crap, which to me begs for a mix-in. We could do that in Sass, but it's nice to think, hey, maybe we'll get native CSS mix-ins. I see the GitHub issue for that is going on pretty hard. But we're only applying that if there's 5 or more children in there. And you just get this chunk of CSS, which clearly could be way more. We could add the dots and auto pagination and inert the things that aren't there. All this. We could apply all this CSS, which would just be this beefy amount of CSS. And I watched Adam Argyle's talk at CSS Day, and there's much more than this. Scrolling the style or the scroll bars and pushing them in to perfectly align with the content, and then all the fallback stuff for other browsers. It could be like hundreds and hundreds of lines of CSS, but we're only applying it in this one little condition. And as soon as you don't have enough elements, they all go away. Like, I think that's cool. That's just like a cool idea. We didn't get super far in that. I'll leave a big fancy comment in here, and maybe we'll circle back to it on another stream if I figure out what the hell was going on with the columns. Because I literally just don't know. Yeah, we'll follow up with that. It'd be cool to design this more officially. Maybe actually make it a SAS mix-in. And I was watching this Kevin Powell video. Kevin, you stopped in here one of these days, so if you're listening, this is for you. That one of your last videos, obviously much more advanced and polished than anything I do, is he used this ability, like in here, all it did was go like, turn on cool styles or something, true. And then, because then it's separating this logic, and then this just closes. The only thing that it did. And then later in the CSS, there was like a container style query that checked for that. Turn on cool styles, true. And then that's where he buried all the rest of these styles. So it's kind of cool to see, because it to me, it reads nicely. Like, under this logic, do this thing, and you can apply it a name. And then later on, you're saying, hey, when anything has this name, do these styles. There's something like kind of nice and logical about that. But that's a mix-in. That's begging for this just to be, mix in, do cool carousel stuff. And then have this just be apply, do cool carousel stuff. To me, that'd be nice, especially because we could put parameters here, and we could have all the ones. Do you want scroll buttons? The default is true, but it doesn't have to be. You could pass it in, so meaning it defaults to true, but we could say false when we call it, and it would override that. So like, it's an opportunity to like have this cool mix in where I can pass in all the stuff how I want its behavior to be. Wouldn't that be cool? We should explore mix-ins and use cases. Maybe we'll have time to do that tomorrow. Anyway, for now, thanks for listening. I should learn how Twitch works and like raid you over to some random dude playing Oblivion or something. But I won't. Gotta get my background set up too. What should I put right there? I don't even know. Something. Bye. You're awesome.